With sugar and spice and a roll of the dice, you're listening to The Dice Girls.
So I guess, like...
Spoiler alert, we finished.
Yeah. hey, we're done. If you skipped here from somewhere else, go back.
Yeah.
You missed some stuff. So yeah, we just wrapped up our campaign a couple days ago. On Friday night even, and it's Sunday morning now. Mm-hmm. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns?
Well, I just have to tell you what, because I had cried so much on Thursday and Friday before we even recorded the final session. I was just super emotional.
Yeah.
And then Friday night when we recorded, I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And all day yesterday on Saturday, I just laid in bed.
Oh.
I didn't really get out of bed. I just watched K-dramas and... just chilled out because I went down. I was going to start editing the audio, and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this.
I bet that's gonna be.
It was so emotional.
Yeah. I feel like I did say I went to the store and stuff yesterday, but I also, like, when I was at home, I just kind of vegged, and I even told Courtney, like, I just need to veg today.
Yeah,
because it was such a big. Well, it was a big build-up, and there was so much, like, anticipation and anxiety and excitement, and then it happens, and then you have to, like, decompress.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that one thing that I had noticed after we were done recording, I realized that our very first episode that we recorded, we were all really nervous.
Yeah.
Because we had no idea what we were doing, even though we didn't think anybody would really listen to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was just, we're playing a game we don't understand, don't really know the rules to, and we're recording it and we're going to put it out there for everyone to see.
Right.
So it was all a bundle of nerves on our first episode. Then in our last session, we were all a bundle of nerves again, but for an entirely different reason. Yeah. Because it means so much to us.
Yeah.
So
I got goosebumps when you were saying that. Wow.
Yeah, because I think that was the most awkward we've been in a long time.
Yeah.
Getting going.
Yeah.
Like, it was that was the most awkward I felt, I think, since the beginning.
Right.
Because it's like this
Same.
is
I also
it.
I'm glad you said that because I also, like, it felt like we all had the high tension, and it was harder to get there.
Yes.
We spent the whole first half of the session almost just, like, stalling, which not as a mean thing, like, it was hilarious.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I think we all almost didn't want to get there, but, like, it was scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, like, by the time our last session is edited, I think we're going to have, because we recorded for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to have at least 3 episodes of our final.
So just that first episode is all just stalling.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
It's the filler episode.
Yeah. Gotta have one. Gotta have a little
Yeah.
downtime before the main big battle. It was so hard to plan because it's not only the regular planning of, like, okay, all the mechanics of a battle. I have to figure out who's going to be there. I have to figure out their stat blocks, what they can do, their hits, like everything.
My gosh.
And it's not only that, it's also like, what storylines, what little things do I need to remember to wrap up or reference, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was a lot. And so in my head, you guys would rush out and blow the horn. And then that would, like, start the battle and basically give you a huge advantage.
Oh, we would have had a huge advantage if we did that.
Sorry to spill those beans.
Well, that's...
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it went backwards. which is beautiful. It's very Dice Girl.
Yeah, we shouldn't have let me carry the horn, is what that sounds like.
Oh, no.
I should have given it to Trigus.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, and like for me, I was like, oh, Rachna's just so traumatized from having stuff taken from her. she's just trying to hide it because like the gems kept disappearing, and then like the blue gemstone got taken.
That ring. Yep. That's very true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I kept stealing stuff from you.
You know, and then it had like a subconscious effect where I didn't even realize that like it was my precious then.
You just kept holding all the important stuff. That's what it was.
I just didn't want Trigus or any bad guys to have it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, the three of you had all the responsibility.
Yeah, you really did.
Yes.
Oh man.
And then every time we'd get into like a precarious situation or something, I have no idea what, we would both just look at you actually.
Yeah. Every time we just
what's our plan?
Yeah, Rachna had to become, well, I guess she was kind of a leader, but
we forced her into the leadership role.
Yeah. And she, negative wisdom, negative intelligence, did the best that she could. She did the best that she could with the tools that she was given.
I think she did a great job.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question for you, Becca.
Okay.
When we sat down day one recording the first episode, how much did you have planned? I probably already asked you this, but
no, that's okay.
But I mean, you couldn't answer until now.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
You can tell.
I can tell
everything now.
I can tell you guys everything. But so basically, the idea for our campaign was a story that I had started to write years ago and almost completely forgot about, and then stumbled upon an old notebook.
Oh my God.
But the story that we wound up playing was like, so if the frame for the story that I was writing is like over here, I know people can't see, but
they get the picture.
Yeah.
Then the story we played was like just out of frame of that, because the story that I was writing focused on, her name wasn't Shima, but it was Shima's existence and her world and what was going on in her world that was affecting the world that she had created, which was Avrin, which wound up being Avrin. And so it was kind of like that inspired a little bit of it. And then when I knew we were going to be playing D&D, I really started trying to think of inspiration. And this is going to sound like so maybe cheesier, but I swear it's how it happened. I was driving in my car and like a series of songs came on, and it was like they just built on each other. And so, and so it really, I think I don't remember what the very, very first one was, but Fireflies came on by Owl City. There were a couple lines from that I wrote down. And well, the first idea that came from it is communicating through fireflies. That's where Wolfwork's Fireflies came from. The next line in Fireflies is something about dreams bursting at the seams. And that is where Taru's inspiration came from. He kept falling asleep and his dreams kept bursting out in the form of those like... So that's kind of where that part came from. So like I knew just like little pieces like that. I knew the Omara was a thing I had already conceptualized because the next song that came on, this is hilarious. It was Mbop by Hanson. I swear to you. Please. Not lying. This is not...
Please tell me how Mbop influenced our D&D campaign.
I would be happy to. So the first way that it influenced the campaign in the Omara-wise way is because it's a song about you don't know how long people are going to be in your life. You blink and they're gone. And it's about... Have you never listened
to the lyrics?
I only know the chorus.
That's fair.
I had no idea.
Wow.
That's fair. I kind of want to pull up some of the lyrics.
Seriously, like I never stopped and listened to it. I just bopped and Baby dot bop boo bop.
You have so many relationships in this life, only one or two will last. You go through all the pain and strife, then you turn your back and they're gone so fast. So hold on to the ones who really care. In the end, they'll be the only ones there. And when you get old and start losing your hair, can you tell me who will still care?
Oh my goodness.
That was deep. Right. Wow, good for them.
And so from that, I thought, well, what if there was a magical way to ensure that the people that you love would stay in your life forever?
Oh,
wow.
And the Omara ritual was born.
Hanson made you.
True.
Dice Girl thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh my god.
100% true.
I love our origin story so much.
You're never going to hear that song the same way again.
No, I'm going to download it on Spotify and listen to it.
So the other part that influenced from that song that influenced our campaign early on, in the second verse, there's a part that says, plant a seed, plant a flower, plant a rose. You can plant any one of those. Keep planting to find out which one grows. It's a secret no one knows. And that was the inspiration for your wildflower field.
Wow.
With all the magical flowers in it.
Oh my god.
So like I had, like I said, little pieces, and I knew that the problem was going to stem from the Omara coming out of their basically frozen state that Wolfric had put them in. Like I came up with all of that part before we sat down. So basically I knew that's going to be what was causing all the world problems. And I had fleshed out the 5 Omara and what their issues were going to be and how those issues were going to affect the world. Which is like part of the reason that you guys heard about like the storm.
Yes.
Way before it ever happened.
Okay.
And I had just like little pieces of it all.
Right.
I didn't know how it would end, but I knew that like the big problem of the world was these 5 forces have unintentionally been causing chaos. It was kind of a brief idea basically.
Wow.
And you guys filled in a lot of the blanks.
Okay, so I know you were probably picturing in your head, okay, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this. How closely did we follow what you thought we were going to do?
Well, we completely missed the baby dragon.
I was gonna. What? Yeah, I'm glad you remember. That's one of the things I was gonna. Yeah. So, are you talking? Okay, first.
I'm so upset.
Right? Yeah. Are you asking about like in that first session or like overall?
In that first session.
In that first session, it did not go like I didn't know what to expect at all. Because I had never run a D&D session before. Like we said, I had played very few, like 1 or 2, but never like with the same group even, or definitely not 5th edition. And you guys, I don't think had ever played.
Never.
And so like I had no idea what to expect. And I knew that you had no idea what to expect either. And so I really I think I even overplanned a little bit that first one because I wanted the world to feel sandboxy to you. I didn't want it to be like, I don't know if I'm sure it's in other video games. There's the Kingdom Hearts series. In the first one, you can kind of mostly run around pretty much where you want until you like find keys to unlock stuff and things like that. But then in the second one, it looks like all these paths are open, but there's like this invisible barrier and you just can't go there. It annoyed the snot out of me.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it's there. I can see it. Why can't I go there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that to you guys. And so if I recall correctly, I super overplanned. And it was like, if they do this, this stuff is going to happen. If they do this, go to this part of your notes. If they do this, go here.
Okay.
And so that cave that you guys went in with the fungus, where you kind of just like, you got terrified.
Yeah, we snuck through
by the flying snakes.
Yeah.
Yes. That cave had caverns. It had other like challenges waiting. There was a little bit of a very small dungeon crawl. There was like a waterfall, and hidden behind the waterfall was like a tunnel that led to a baby dragon's lair. Like,
oh my
Wimble was in there.
Wimble was in there. Yeah, like
Wow.
Oh my god.
Actually, no. I think...
Was that after?
Yes.
When we came back?
I created Wimble and Ellie and Rixie after you guys had decided you were going to go back.
Okay.
So Wimble wasn't in there yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we heard like sounds or crying or something, right? Or is that why we went back? I can't remember.
Yes, you heard you heard a shrieking kind of sound, and it was a mushroom. It was a shrieking fungus.
Oh.
But you didn't know that. And so when you decided to go back to the cave, I thought, I need to make this like worthwhile.
Oh.
Instead of us just walking in there and seeing this mushroom and it's like, ah!
Yes.
And we're like, oh.
Yes. Yeah. I can't remember where I found it. I think it was in like the monster manual, but it was a type of mushroom that is used. It shrieks to draw people in, and then it usually grows alongside other mushrooms that are very poisonous.
Oh.
And so it's like the bait.
Oh.
And I didn't, it was, you guys were traumatized after the snakes, like you just said. And so I was like, I can't lure them into this mushroom trap that I created. Because it's going to be too much and they're going to hate it and we're never going to play again.
Because I think the problem was we didn't have any health potions. So it was like our HP was our HP and that was it.
You were very squishy.
We didn't prep at all.
Yeah.
I think we weren't adding the proper modifiers and stuff yet.
Uh-huh.
So that's why we were
It was
missing so
just
much.
like the base damage.
Yeah.
All of our rolls were misses.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have a question for you guys. After a battle like that, how does that feel? How does it feel to you when it's just like, because it was comedic. There are times when it feels a little like a slog and like frustrating. Was there like a lot of that?
We didn't do that many battles.
We didn't. That's very true.
I think the only part for me that I found frustrating was because just a rogue, I couldn't do a whole lot of damage.
Right.
So it felt like I wasn't contributing a whole lot. But it never felt like a slog, Because like Rachna and Trigus were always doing cool stuff. So it was just like, I'll throw my dagger, I'll swing my sword, but that was it for me.
Do you think that's going to influence how you build your next character?
Probably. Magic is just overwhelming in itself because there's like a lot of moving parts to it. So that I'm a little trepidatious about. But yeah, I think that is why I chose a magic character for next time.
Nice.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I actually feel like I kind of felt similarly. It wasn't a slog or anything, but I think it was more that I didn't have very much healing magic. I think I just had like the one default, I think it's lay on hands, and I can only heal from a very small pool based off of my level, which is still 1.
Right.
So there was very little I could do, so I did feel a little powerless. But so it made me a little worried about like what was coming next, you know, which I think really probably contributed to us sneaking through the cavern and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, like it never felt difficult or not fun or it wasn't a bad thing. It was just a little unnerving because here we are new to this game. Yeah. And it's not going as well as I had hoped. Right. So it was very very unnerving at first, but after that wolf fight, I think you had figured out, what we were doing wrong, and it was just like it felt like smooth sailing after that point.
And I do know that there are ways for rogues to do more damage. It's just I'm not super up to date on that, so because I know like sneak attacks, like I never used my sneak function, right? But once per turn, if I was sneaking, I could do an extra d6 of damage, if I had used that. Yeah. But I never did.
I think we talked about that too at one point where like it's hard to sneak. The party makes like big entrances and like it's hard to sneak. It's hard to sneak with Turgis.
Yeah. Small guy, big personality.
Our first battle was the snakes. Yeah. Okay. At that point, we were going through this battle and everything, and I had no idea that my character could die. I didn't understand why you guys were all like, oh, no, and I'm like, this is just fun. I'm just having fun. And then you said something, you need to roll a death save. And I'm like, oh, okay. not thinking that this could be permadeath for Trigus
Oh my God.
in the first battle.
Right.
And then Hector came out to...
That was the wolves. The second battle.
Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah, you were going, it was a good, few sessions that you were just
I was clueless.
Didn't know you could die.
Yeah, I was clueless. So then after that, I was like, oh, I need to be careful. I need to have some strategy here. But the rules of D&D and combat and all that stuff, it's still confusing for me. I just don't process information like that really well. And so I would just always hope for the best.
Right. Yeah.
It was fun. I had a great time, but it was a little different after I realized I could die.
That's so
because I remember I was talking to you because when we were going to go back into the cave and we were kind of discussing, I don't think this was on the recorded session.
Oh.
But I think we were talking about, okay, we have to do, this and we've got to be careful and I don't want to go look in that. And I was saying, if we don't explore and take risks, people aren't going to enjoy listening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that was when you said, you almost died. And I was like, what? And then Alexa's like, yeah, your character, Becca, had to pull something out to save Trigus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to explain to me how D&D works. Because you guys took to it right away and understood it faster than I did. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because Trigus failed his last death save, didn't he? And
I don't think I let it get that far.
I think he failed 2 death saves.
Or I think what it was, so you get 3 death saves and you have to have at least 2 wins. I think he had 1 of each.
Okay.
And so the
you
last.
take a chance.
Yeah, because
our game's over.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
If you would have had to roll a new character.
Yeah, because I swear I remember us saying that Trigus technically died. So I wonder if you did, because I swear I remember us in one of our our post session,
that
in one of our Patreon stuff, we were like, yeah, technically Trigus died.
Maybe you did.
Okay.
Maybe we figured out later that we hadn't been calculating it correctly.
Something like that, yeah.
And then Trigus would have actually died.
Right.
But Hector saved the day.
Hector saved the day.
Yeah, that's why I have that close connection with
He saved
Hector.
your life.
Yeah, he definitely saved. And it was weird. Hector was, I would imagine, just a character to give us magic items.
Yes, absolutely. He was the shopkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you guys actually formed that connection with him after he saved your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because in my mind, it was in that moment, oh my gosh, I need to save Trigus. Because they're not going to be able to. You said, their healing was very limited. You didn't have any potions. You were squishy as heck.
Yeah, I think another person was prone at the time.
Yeah, someone's leg was getting chewed on or something.
Yeah. The 3 of us were down.
You were not doing good.
Yeah.
It was, and that fight, I didn't even intend it to be that hard. I think I started out with just the one.
You started out with 1 wolf, and then I think Ash did a bunch of damage at the beginning.
You all got a hit in, and I was like, they're going to kill this wolf before we even, and so I'm like, I better add 2 more. Yes. But so I had to think in that moment when you were dying and I was like, I can't kill these guys here and now. This is not
the shortest podcast ever.
Yeah.
It's just a funeral.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And so I thought, what is a plausible way for them to be saved without too much interrupting the flow of the game by introducing an entirely new character or something like that. And so I was like, well, they just ran into Hector a little bit ago.
Just talked to Hector.
Yeah, so that was what wound up happening. He just wound up coming in. Yeah.
And then where did the gems come? Hector had the gems.
Hector had the gems. Rachna bought the gems.
But where did you get the idea for the gems?
So I had already had the idea for the Omara But like most of Hector's items, almost all of them, I think, if not all of them, come from a really cool Twitter account. It's called the Catalog of Slightly Magical Merchandise. And it's at of Slightly on Twitter. I don't know if they're still like active, but their whole back catalog is there. Basically, I don't want to say it was like Schrodinger's item, but like I knew Hector would have it for sale with a box of gems. And the description that I gave you is pretty much exactly the description that's on the Twitter, is that it like gives off a slightly mystical or mysterious aura, or there was something in there about it, like they emanate some kind of. And if Rachna wouldn't have bought the gems, then a completely different like storyline would have happened. The Omara still would have been there. But like then it just wouldn't have happened. And it wasn't even until she bought the gems that I decided, now I'm going to do something really cool with them. And I already had the idea of the Omara in place. And so I was like, this is perfect. And it kind of just spiderwebbed out from there. And so really like you buying those gemstones, it built a huge part of the world and the story. Yeah.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
I don't even remember why I bought them. Like, I think everybody else was
like the coolest thing on the list.
Yeah. Or maybe everyone was buying stuff. I'm like, I don't really know what I want, but we'll see what this does, or something like that. You know, I thought very little of it at the time, I think.
Yeah, because I think you didn't touch them again until episodes and episodes later, right? Was that
I think so.
It might have even been after we encountered Sadie. It might not have been until then.
Well, no, because it might have been with Claire, because she was the one who was like, hey, wait a minute, keep those safe. And then when you pulled them out after the fight with Sadie and you realized one was missing, that's when Claire had her whole meltdown.
Yeah.
And I think you showed them to Claire the first time because Rom had seen them.
Yeah, we showed them.
Yeah.
We showed him to Rom and he's like, I'll give you like 500 gold for those.
Yeah. Like, he tried to buy them from you. Yeah, that's right.
I'm pretty sure I pushed for us to sell them.
Yeah. I think you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did.
Which would have been fine. We would have worked around it for sure.
But then I think after that, we showed them to Claire. Yeah. And then she was like, you gotta protect those gems with your life.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that Rom offered so much for them that I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What do these really worth?
Right.
I
need a second opinion.
Yeah.
And so I went to a mystical lady in a tent for my second opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like you do.
Yeah.
So what things, okay, like the baby dragon that we missed, what other things did we... And it's not like we missed out on anything.
Right, yeah.
You just...
But like maybe there was stuff that I planned for that never happened.
Yeah. Like I think about the like the mark of the betrayer like all the time. It was like if we had done that, it would have been like a way different story.
Yes. I'm trying to, I don't know if I have that far back in my OneNote, but you're absolutely right. That was one of those points in the story where I had to start branching off into two completely different directions, because it was like, you guys were given the choice to accept the mark of the betrayer or not. And I had to plan for what to do if you accepted it and what to do if you didn't. And so if I recall correctly, if you had accepted it and all taken the mark of the betrayer, did you? I don't think you did.
Well, so we accepted it to do the thing, but like with the Rom gave us the box with the thing in it that we had to give to Claire, and if we had opened it, then we would have gotten it for real.
Yes.
And then we would have completely missed out on the gnome resistance.
Yeah, yes. That would have been the consequence for the mark of the betrayer if you guys would have opened that box and gotten it. I had planned on basically thinking that you guys would probably decide to leave town, and there was going to be like a tree on the way out, and I was going to have Kai roll a perception check to see if she noticed the thieves' cant on the tree that was going to have some kind of message about where you could go to find refuge for other people who were like outcast now from society, basically, because this was a huge deal. And so you probably would have wound up in like a thieves guild or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been a lot different.
We were so close to that.
No, we really, Trigus wanted to open that box so bad.
Yeah.
Trigus was like, let's open it. Let's open it.
Yeah. I think I was just tall and I held it out of his reach.
Yeah, you held it out of his reach.
Yeah. We had to roll for...
Yes, you grappled each other or somehow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, it was really close to being totally different.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, actually.
Yeah. Because, like, what if... Okay, so when we were in Hector's cart and then Trigus dove for the horn and was going to blow it, and I had to fight both of you.
Yeah.
And you stopped me, Alexa. What would have happened if
I probably one of the biggest consequences for that would have been that everything in the wagon would probably been destroyed by the blast. You guys probably would have taken some pretty nasty damage and needed to like you would have needed to take some time to recover, I think. Like just it might have slowed you down a little bit in your
so glad you
in your
stopped
journey.
me, Kai. I'm telling you.
We wouldn't have had seagulls if it
Oh, I probably would have killed the seagulls. Huh.
They're magical seagulls. They can't be killed.
Oh, okay, good.
They just
poof, yeah.
Yeah.
There are other ways there that like, and a lot of times it's you, Kim, as Trigus would come up with an idea, but like if you would have done it, it could have been really cool. The way that comes to my mind, and it wound up happening anyway, with Wolfric bonbons. Is I think I had definitely already talked to you, Kim, at that point about can I have some creative freedom with Trigus's backstory before current.
Yeah.
You know, because I think you had said like you didn't remember or you didn't have anything planned for like the first chunk of Trigus's life.
Nope.
And I was like, can I run with that?
Yep.
And so I knew for a long time before you guys did, and even before you did, like you had an idea. I knew for a long time that Trigus was like the sixth Omara, basically, who didn't participate in the ritual. And so I knew before I created the bonbons of clarity that if Trigus ate one, he would remember instantly in that moment who he was.
Oh.
And all of that backstory would have come flooding out then. Instead of when you guys were in the library with Charlie reading those books.
Yeah.
That's when you found out about Trigus's backstory instead.
Yeah. No, because Trigus had said, well, I want the bonbon.
Yes, he wanted to eat it so bad.
Yeah.
And Kai and Rachna knew it was like a magical rare item. And so you guys kept him from eating it.
Yeah.
Like responsibly, honestly, but like
the fun stoppers.
Right.
there were a couple things like that where it was like, and for everybody, not just with Trigus. I'm trying to remember other specific examples, but there was a lot of that. Just so many things I think were planned. Like I had to plan a lot in the moment. And so a lot of it was like split second decisions on my part of I need a way to make this happen. I need a way to guide them this way. I need a way to have this not happen.
I just can't imagine how you just rolled with everything that we did. You never seemed flustered or
That's good.
yeah, or like scared or oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I mean, sometimes you'd stop us and you'd say, "Oh, that's a good question. Let me just look this up," you know, which we edited out of the show when she would be looking through her notes and stuff. And you'd pause a little bit, but then you'd just go right into this thing and it just sounded like that was what you intended to do the whole time.
Good.
Yeah. I think the only time like I ever saw you worried was with the wolves and with Trigus rolling because I remember you were like, okay, I need to do something about this. Give me a minute.
Yeah. There were a couple of times where I was really scared. And one of them was the wolves, for sure. That was like probably the first one. When Ivan, this was way towards the end, obviously, when Ivan successfully was going to age Rachna, that terrified me. Like, I knew that was a thing that ghosts could do. I knew that, and I think it was a split-second decision to try and use it because I kind of struggle with myself back and forth when you guys are in battle of like, I don't want to go too hard on them, but this shouldn't be cake. There should be consequences, and there should be things that happen that are bad. And so I was like, that's a thing that ghosts can do. He's going to try to do it. And he did, and he succeeded. And it wasn't a DC check. It was a DC check, but the aging thing only happened if you failed it by a wide margin. And so it was even a better chance of it not actually happening, which is why I felt okay about using it. And then when Rachna...
You forgot who you were playing with.
The Dice Girls, historically high rollers.
That's fair. But yeah, when I paused, I think for a long time and like was trying to decide, okay, do I follow through with it? And then Ashley, not knowing what was coming, says, just do it. Do it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. I was terrified in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, that 100%, like, I knew it was going to be something really bad, but we haven't, well, I can't remember the last time we had a consequence like that, you know?
Right, yeah.
But honestly, I loved it.
Good.
Like, I thought it was an excellent decision to go through with it. And I can't really explain why, other than like, I like the high stakes consequences, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and I was willing to roll with it. I was fine with just leaving her aged 30 years through the end, you know?
Yeah.
Because we're saving the world here. Like, it's,
right.
You know, it's
big.
high risk, high reward.
Yes.
So, you know, so I was okay with us taking a few hits, you know, like a huge consequence, but like, that's what we're dealing with here. We're saving the world.
Yeah.
You know, so like I was 100% ready for Rachna to just be 50 something for the rest of the yeah. And that would have been fine. That would have been a fine conclusion to me even.
Yeah. Aww.
So yeah.
That's funny.
And then if you hadn't done that, we would have never brought up the story of me falling in the garage.
Oh yes.
Story.
Yeah, that was actually I don't know if it's in an episode that's already come out or if it's in the
think it is in an episode because I've heard it recently too. And so I listen to the episodes and title them and stuff before they come out. So I think it's already out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So Kai, or Alexa, which part of Kai's personality is most like you and least like you?
Oh.
Kai is almost just 100% me, you know? Like, because at first I wanted to make her like super brooding and super, you know, sneaky, but there's a LARPer that I follow on YouTube and a lot of different social medias. Her name's Momo O'Brien. And she was like giving tips for like new LARPers. And she was like, I know it sounds cool, but don't be the broody character that sits in the corner because you're not going to make any friends that way. Like, I know it's fun to be that, but it's not a good like starting character to be. And I was like, okay, nice. I've already got Kai, but I mean, I guess like I already got like her backstory and everything. So I guess I'm just not going to play her that way, you know? And so I didn't really have anything else planned. So it's just like, and then just like with my general social ineptitude, just that kind of just like bled in to her like all the way. So she speaks up a lot more than I do though. Like, cause like, especially like with Hayoni and like
her sass
in the trial, that was very, very not me. I don't think I would have done that in real life.
Yeah.
So I think that she's more vocal than I am.
Right. And I know the name Kai comes from Kai from EXO, the K-pop group.
Yes.
And where did you get, because you were Mara before you were Kai.
Yeah.
Mara. So where did you get Mara from?
Mara, I think we've talked about this before, but like years ago, towards the very beginning. Mara is the name of a goddess in Skyrim, in the Elder Scrolls universe. She's the goddess of like love and compassion.
Yeah, isn't it like an item of Mara that you give to wed somebody?
Yeah. To get married in Skyrim, you have to, if you already have, it's an amulet of Mara. Mm-hmm. If you already have one, you can use that, but then you can go to Mara Mall in the temple and buy one for 200 gold pieces. It's very expensive.
Only the best for my love.
Yes. Yeah, and so when you put that on, that's like a sign that you're looking for marriage, that you're like,
that would be so handy.
Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, you're open to it. So then people you have like a high affinity with, if you've like completed their quest, or if you've done something for them and they like you, then they'll be like, oh, you're wearing an amulet of Mara, you're looking for marriage. Okay, and then you say, yes, I am. And then they're like, oh, how about me? And you can either say yes or no. And then if you say yes, then you go get married.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
that's very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I knew the Kai part, but I didn't know the Mara part.
I'm not sure why I picked that name. Probably just because I was playing Skyrim at the time. And I was like, that's a cool name.
I need a name. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because Mara's human form was modeled after Vex, who's also a character in Skyrim. She's in the Thieves Guild, which is how I think I got her, like, her thief background. And I was like, okay, so she's going to look like Vex. And then in Skyrim, the Thieves Guild is like directly under the Temple of Mara.
Okay.
The secret entrance to the Thieves Guild, you have to go under, like, you have to go through
around the back,
the temple, and then like down and through the thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
The symbolism.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's very tied to the city of Riften. Is
That's awesome.
like Kai's human form.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And Rachna, how did you come up with Rachna's name?
I believe her last name Gulanok just came from like a randomizer thing online, randomize your fantasy name, and I picked like orc and it hit randomize a few times and found Gulanok and was like, okay, that sounds like a pretty good last name, why not? Rachna, it's taken from the name Rochnum, and Rochnum is the name of a flying ice elemental sky whale in a game called Skies of Arcadia. It was originally released on the Dreamcast. I never had a Dreamcast, so I didn't play it there, but they did a re-release called Skies of Arcadia Legends on the GameCube. And I had seen all about it when it was on Dreamcast because I was super into games I couldn't have. So, I was able to find a used copy of Skies of Arcadia Legends at a GameStop and snatched it up, and the name Rochnum was just so unusual, and I like doing little references to things that I like. So I like taking inspiration from things that I like. So I was using Rochnum already as like a name for my MMO characters. Because like massively multiplayer online, so things like World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Although at the time I was playing a game called Ion online, so I would use Rochnum, and I liked using it because it sounded a little more like masculine too, so I felt like I was like hiding a little, online. Do we know anything about that? And so I dropped the M whenever I wanted it to seem a little more feminine. So that's it. I named her after a sky whale from like a really obscure game.
That's amazing.
But like it's already sounded kind of orcish, so I just went with it.
It's perfect.
Yeah, that was it.
That.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about, I think you've talked before about where the name Trigus comes from, but remind me.
Where did you get Trig from?
I don't know.
So, yeah, you tell it.
Yeah, whenever I play Fallout 4, I'm always a man. I always pick the male character. And so when you come up with a name, I just put in Trig, Trigg.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea where I came. It just sounds like a super strong name, So then I thought, well, I'm going to use that, but I needed to add something to it. So I just added us, Trigus,
Nice.
And then the Garganath, I think that was just like a name generator kind of thing. I might have looked up names for Tritons kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I think you just looked up names for Tritons and you were like, you're like, Trigus, Garganath, that sounds so cool.
That's a name.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Becca, I think I know the answer to, I don't know. Which NPC is most like you?
Oh. I think I put a little bit of myself into like a couple. Yeah, okay. Maybe even all of them. There were a couple I think that were modeled a little more. And it's funny because we've done this over a period of 4 years. Right. And so like a lot has changed. I feel like I have changed a lot in those 4 years. In some ways in good, in some ways not so great. And so like at different times, I feel like I would put different pieces in that and not even like consciously so much. But the example that's coming to my mind initially is Shael, where was that going to be everybody's answer?
Yeah.
I really, she was one of the Omara who didn't have a ton of, I hadn't like hugely decided on her personality besides that she was going to be like pretty crunchy and like, I was going through kind of a rougher time in my life. And I also kind of thought Shael has also been through a lot. And so some of her more like, I think spacey and like dissociative kind of things really mirror my own personal experiences during that time. And so like it was almost a little cathartic when I got to play her because it was kind of a way to express through someone else some of the feelings and things that I was going through without necessarily having to get like all the way vulnerable about it and directly being like, this is how I am feeling. It was really cathartic for me. And so I think I probably wound up putting a little more of myself into Shael than I ever intended. Right. But yeah, I think definitely she would be the one that is probably the closest in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And I also think of Megzi.
Yes.
That was actually what I was going to say. Yeah.
You're always just so, no matter what you're going through, when you get here and we start, or even if we're just hanging out, going to the Grand Canyon or whatever, you're just always so positive, just bubbly and positive and find the fun and just like a light.
Aw, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you.
Well, the tissues are still here.
Yeah, they are.
And that was exactly my answer too. I was thinking a mix between Megzi and Shael. Like that's Becca.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was like she seemed most like a character that you would play, like in a game that you were playing.
That's very true. Yeah, she is. Which probably just means that I am more likely to play characters like myself, I guess. Yeah. Except this next one coming up. I don't think she's
can't wait.
Yeah.
You get so excited every time you say even just like a tiniest little hint about this new character. And I'm just so
ready for her.
So excited / curious. I need a word that's not quite like worried or nervous. Right. Curious is probably it.
Yeah.
Somewhere between there.
I'm super stoked.
What does this mean? What am I in for?
Right.
I think you're gonna like her, I hope.
I think so too.
She's pretty cool. I'm excited.
The way that you like instantly bubble up a little, like, it's I'm like, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. I think part of that is I'm really I really enjoy and very much enjoyed while DMing getting into the NPCs like character. That part of it was probably the most fun part of DMing for me, was playing the NPCs. And so there's a lot of them And so like it gets hard to keep track of. And so it becomes harder to really like, if there were fewer of them, each of them could have had more personality injected into them.
Right.
Okay, now I'm going to have one.
Oh boy.
And she's going to get to like develop, and I'm going to remember how she is from session to session, because she's going to be there every single time. And so I'm just really excited to dig deeper into playing a character.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm really stoked for that.
interesting.
I think that's part of why I light up every time.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Hey guys, it's Becca here with a quick little interruption to your episode, but I promise it's a really good interruption. So in between the time where we recorded this episode and are airing it, we actually have played our first session of Quest together. And as we're starting a new game and a new kind of season to the Dice Girls, we thought we would throw together a promo for our Quest campaign. And in it, there are a couple clips from our very first session, which is going to be the episode that comes out 2 weeks from now. But we thought we'd give you guys a little sneak peek by letting you hear what our promo sounds like for our upcoming brand new game of Quest, which is going to be starting in our very next episode. So here's our promo. Hope you guys are enjoying the episode and hope you enjoy the rest of it. Bye. The Dice Girls have wrapped up their campaign and we're going on a new adventure with a new DM. Like, really new. Yep, she's brand new to DMing and not nervous at all.
Does anyone have a reason why we should not play this game? Because I'm open for anything.
I mean, she's totally prepared for this. She planned out absolutely everything.
Yeah, where are we?
Oh, I didn't come up with a name. Los Angeles. This is Los Angeles, but the locals call it LA.
And she knows that us, her players, we're going to take it easy on her. No shenanigans, no giving her a hard time or anything like that.
Sit, she says, gesturing to the kitchen table.
Are there chairs?
There's 4 chairs. Yeah. Yeah, there's 4 chairs.
I can sit on the table, but
So yeah, come listen to us learn how to play Quest. We're the Dice Girls, and we definitely know what we're doing.
I was gonna say I also have a couple questions that I wrote for you guys.
Ahead.
Let's see. Let me get back to
have 3 or 4. They're
Yeah, I
not
have
really
a couple.
questions, but they're just funny things that I found in my notes.
Okay, I have a question for each of you. What was the moment that shocked or surprised you the most in the campaign?
I thought Rachna was gonna die. I thought she was dead, and I was like, there's no, like, I was like frozen. It was like, I was like, oh my God, are we like seriously gonna lose Rachna? And then when she started to crumple, I was like, are we gonna lose Rachna? That was terrifying. I was so scared. So that was the most shocking for me.
Aww. That's kind of why I included the crumpling, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Is to hopefully make it feel like
Sorry. I lost control of my pencil. It just flew out of my hand. Those are the times I wish we were filming.
Oh my gosh.
So shocked.
You did? You were very surprised.
Just out the corner of my eye, it looked like you had thrown it. And you were just like really shocked that you threw it.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Okay, so back to what you were saying.
Back to
about this
Rachna's
heavy
dying.
Emotional
okay,
scene.
dying. Yeah, that-
why you crumbled.
yeah. I was hoping that it would really feel like she was dying.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it did.
Well, good.
I mean, I figured that's what you were going for. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question? Most shocking?
Most shocking.
Yeah, most shocking moment in the campaign.
I think for me it was actually when, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. W.
Wulfric?
I keep wanting to say like Wilfred. I'm like, who's Wilfred? When Wulfric smashed his gemstone, I think absolutely horrified me. Because we had no idea what that meant, and he was just gone. And so I thought that he was dead. I thought he smashed his own gemstone and lost his life because of it, essentially. Like he disappeared from existence or something.
Wow.
That absolutely floored me when that happened.
Remembering back now, I think it came out as a really funny scene.
Yeah.
Because there was talks of like sweeping up all the little shards.
Yes.
Trying to glue them back together.
I remember that.
That was so good.
Yeah,
that was a big moment.
It was, yeah. And I think it had to do too with like, this is why my dad was gone the whole time.
Right.
We just had a tearful moment, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That Triggus walked in on.
looking for secret tunnels.
Yeah.
That's why we're crying.
That's why we're crying. Yeah,
so to barge in on my dad's secret lair and ruin his life's work, essentially, I think contributed to it.
I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Like, that's so funny. That is a good one.
Yeah.
What about yours, Triggus? Most shocking moment?
Sadie.
Oh,
Just being long lost ally.
Yeah.
And then the gnomes that were trapped, but then we found out that she hadn't hurt them. It was a huge relief, but just knowing that they were trapped down there, but then finding out that she was a long lost friend was very shocking.
Yeah, I think just the whole Triggus backstory reveal, I think that was also just very shocking.
Yes.
Yeah, I think before last session, I think that would have been my answer, was Triggis's reveal.
Yeah.
Because that was intense.
Yeah.
Because I have my backstory in here.
Do you?
Yes. Okay, here's my backstory.
2.5 paragraphs.
2.5 paragraphs.
That's amazing.
So I never fit in with my family. I always thought that instead of fighting with our foes, we should try to understand what made them evil and try to win them over with kindness and love. I never felt understood, so I left home and was living in a van down by the river. I just sat there alone playing my bagpipes and longing to be understood. So that was my backstory.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not a backstory writer.
I think I have
which
Kai's
is fine.
super secret backstory.
Oh.
Do you?
That I've never shared before.
How fun.
Because my backstory didn't come out until like almost the very end.
It was a lot later, yeah. Because we did, so Rockness was first with reuniting with Dad, and then Triggis's was him being part of the Omara,
Right.
and Kai with Ivan, and finding ways to write Ivan into the story, and like with the whole ring, and
Yes.
getting to like have your revenge.
Yeah.
Was yours.
Yeah, here's my backstory is a page and a paragraph. I think I did this all in one sitting. But I was like, I have to create a character. I don't know what's going to happen. And I just like sat down and I hammered it out,
That's awesome.
And some of this, I forgot about that part. I grew up on the streets of a large city. I was brought up by a man named Ivan. He took me in at a young age. He taught me how to blend in with the shadows, charm my way out of any situation, how to move my body fluidly to make my escapes easier. I owe Ivan everything. And part of that was because of the personality traits and everything.
Yeah.
I chose, I owe everything to my mentor, a horrible person who's probably rotting in jail somewhere. And I took that and I was like, I made that the basis for everything.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't think I came up with my backstory until after the character creation. But apparently he helped create my alias, Mara, I don't know. She has a last name, but I can't read my handwriting.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the whole, like, the framing him for the crime because also my flaws, an innocent person is in prison for a crime that I committed. I'm okay with that. And so I made that.
Yeah.
He's not technically innocent. He's innocent for that crime.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't commit that crime, but he's rotting in jail and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Dang.
I like it.
Yeah.
I do too.
How did you come up with your backstory?
Well, a lot of it was actually Becca and I sitting down, and I can't remember exactly how that went. I can't remember if I already had all these ideas and just and you were like on board, and you know you're like yes, okay, like already it looked like the wheels were already turning for you.
Yeah.
But originally she was going to be more like naturey, like or crunchy, even because she had. I knew that I made her, half human, half orc, mostly because I didn't want to go all the way orc with my first character. It was too much for me. I think the orcs were like in like the D&D descriptions and stuff. I think they were supposed to be like dumb or something. I can't remember what it was, or maybe they were just too savage or something like that. And I was like, ooh, like I'm trying to be a paladin. How do I make this work? I don't even remember how I decided on worshiping Bahamut or anything. I think I just like was going through all the different options and stuff and was like, silver dragon, cool, and like Bahamut sounds cool, so I think sitting down with Becca was when I kind of hashed out that she was going to grow up on a more with her human side, and I wanted her to leave and not be happy with how that life was going, and therefore just try to pursue more of her orcish story. And that was kind of it. Like I knew that she had been picked on and stuff growing up, and that somehow or another she had to be faithful to Bahamut, which is not and a paladin, which just are not very orcish things. So I had to really lean into the human side of her to make that make sense. And then I wanted her to like leave and become like this nature lover, and like just complete opposite of what she was before. And she was originally going to take on the Oath of the Ancients, which is the crunchy path for paladins, I think. But I don't remember who we were talking to. It was one of our early, we were doing like an interview or something with another D&D podcast. I'm really sorry that I can't remember who it was, but we were talking to a couple of guys, and one of them was, I think, pretty passionate about playing paladins. And when he asked me what oath I was going to take, and I said Oath of the Ancients, his reaction was kind of like, oh, and I was like, I don't like that reaction. So it made me kind of rethink it a little bit, and she ended up leaning way more into her religious side than I had ever planned on. I thought I wanted her to be like, because I'm not a religious person at all. So playing someone who is deeply religious was like scary for me. But it worked, I guess.
I think it did.
It worked great.
Yeah. I was also really conscious of, like, I come from a very religious background, and I have gone away from that. And so I also tried to be really conscious of like the words that I was using. And I tried, like with Bahamut, I tried not to ever have him treat you like a servant or like, because I've been my faithful servant kind of thing. I didn't like that vibe. And so I always kind of tried to have him treat you as like, I know he called you my child, but I always tried to have him kind of approach you and talk to you as if he had a lot of respect for you as well.
Like calling you a warrior.
Yes.
Yeah. I hadn't even really I think I would have noticed, or I would have felt it if the wording was more like that. But it just like flowed so well the way that you did it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You did a good job with that.
Hey, thanks. I tried. You did too. Like, I love
the conversations with Rachna and Bahamut, Rachna and Shema, Rachna and Claire. While I'm listening, it's like, oh, these guys must have called each other and kind of plan this out because it just sounds so good. And it's like, no.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
So that was just, I was always just in awe listening to you play off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just so good.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Totally, spitballing the whole time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Most of like her conversations with Shima and Bahamut were not planned because for so long, there was a long while in the middle where you didn't like meditate a lot, which is fine. But so those opportunities didn't come up. And so I'd never expected them. And so I didn't plan for them. And so then in the end, like by the time you started doing it more regularly, I was already used to like not having to plan it. And so a lot of times when you were like, I'm going to meditate, or do I speak to Bahamut? Or Shima or whoever, I had to really quickly in my head think of like, what would they have to say to her right now that could help and be relevant and interesting? And like a lot of those were off the cuff, like
That's
unexpected.
wild.
They didn't feel that way.
Good.
Not at all. That's why I was thinking that
so
it
nervous.
was planned or something.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with obviously each of you have had like, I've talked to each of you personally about things, but beyond like those little snippets, I think we've done a really good job of like sequestering ourselves from like sharing too much information
Yeah.
or planning too much. Like that's not our style.
Yeah.
Anytime, because there were a couple things where you needed to kind of know what direction we were going to go in. But if we tried to plan something and script it, it would be so bad.
So bad.
It would be so awkward.
Yeah. I remember feeling a lot of awkwardness during when we were doing the April Fool's special because you guys like switched roles.
Yeah, that was hard to do.
challenging.
Yeah.
But and then when I listened back to it, because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be really terrible, but it was actually funny.
Yeah.
It was good.
That's good.
Yeah.
There have been a couple moments where I've had that same experience where I thought, oh my gosh, that's maybe not going to sound really good. And then it always is.
It always sounds
hilarious.
fun.
And it always turns out really good. I'm curious about what were some of the things that you guys would talk about since we're talking about sequestering. You guys had, I think, a group chat. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have zero clue how often it was used or like what you guys talked about.
We only used it a couple times. Okay. I don't know what this is in reference to. So I created the group chat. And then Ash says, "What's the plan?" And then I say, "Mom has a plan for the ambush, but she won't tell me what it is." And you say, Mom says, "While we're in Narstad, we need to talk to the elders and tell them what we discovered." Alexa's making fun of me. And I said, "You're thinking of Asylum. That's where the elders are." So I think it had to do something with Hyone and the liars.
Oh.
And we were planning to do something.
Were you going to ambush the...
I don't even remember.
Ash says, "Wouldn't they already know about the tree and stuff anyway?" Or wait, OMG, it's been a month. Let me get my day notes out.
Sounds about right.
And then Mom says, "We never went back and told them anything. We just hung out with Megzy." And then Ash says, "Sounds like a pretty good use of our time to me." Then Ash says, "Seriously though, I think we should stick to Narstad/TT. I think hopping around too much might mess with the audience." Mom says, okay, wait, we need to hang out with our friends. The scuttle first while we wait for Carl to get to Timbertide.
Who's Carl?
Okay. And then Ash says, "Are we going to teleport there or walk to ambush Harold?"
Oh,
So that's
Okay. And I thought he was Carl.
Yeah, so we created the group chat to talk about our plan to ambush Harold. And then TT would refer to Timbertide.
Right.
I said we're probably going to teleport to Timbertide because we want to get there before Harold does, and I think it would take longer than a week for us to walk there. And then Ash says, "Beck said 3 days. Oh wait, that's with a wagon we don't have. Teleporting sounds good to me." Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then Ash says, "I want to do something dumb to ambush him, like tripwire or 999 ball bearings in the road."
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, so that's why we created it.
And we only used it a couple of times.
I think this is the longest conversation we had was talking about our ambush with Harold. And then Ash says, we plan what we're going to do with Harold. And then Ash says, I don't know what NPCs to talk to because I mixed them all up. Bilrick for sure. I'm not sure who else we need to see. Rom to return the horses. Claire. And then I said, I vaguely remember us having a reason to talk to Claire. I don't remember what it is. We should also probably say hi to Talon because he's Talon. And Mom says, yes, Claire, to tell her about stuff about Bonbon Guy. And then I say, and the whole thing with the gems. And Ash is like, oh crap, the gems. Guys, do you think she's going to be mad at me? And then Mom says, I hope she smiles you. And then she corrects it to smites. And then Ash says, 2 out of 5 gems just gone. I am in so much trouble.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then you say, I should have just polished a rock from outside to give to him. To Wolfric.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah. Then we talk about needing to find out what happened to Wolfric. We should go to the elders and tell them what happened to see if they could tell us where to look for him. It's like Ashley starts off because the group chat is called Scheme Team. And Ash starts off with, okay, schemers, I think we need to go to the woodlands to learn why the final member of the Omara denounced it before we go see what Sadie wants at Costco Forest. Then we can make a more informed decision when we face Sadie again. Not sure if we should try to ambush Harold first. Depends on our time travel. So we're still planning, that whole thing took a lot of planning.
Yeah, I wasn't very trusting of Sadie even when we knew that she was our friend.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we talk about buying horses.
For some reason, I feel like a lot of that chat was used to talk about horses.
I think
How to save the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Like, I think when
we're talking about Wolfric and Mom just goes, Wolfric is a wizard?
He's a wizard? Wait.
Yeah.
He's a wizard?
Yeah. He's always been a wizard.
That's so cool.
Yeah. That's why he makes all those. I guess not all wizards make magical things, but
Right.
he did.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you say, we gave Bilrick all the papers we found in Sadie's lair. Did we check back to see with him with what he learned? We gave Rom a copy of the symbol, and he said it looks familiar, and he can't figure out why. He said he will study it. Did we ever check back with him? Claire, the first and beloved family, suffer greatly. Present tense, like they're still here! ! Claire re Sadie, only a creature whose is deeply evil could desecrate a living being. Being desecrated changes the fabric of who you are. Then you say, Ash says, wow, we did not follow up on any of those. So a lot of this is just like, wow, we didn't follow up with any of that. Yeah, and then we don't say anything for almost a year. Like it was like September 29th, 2019 was the last time, and then August 29th, 2020. Mom says, hello, is this thing still on? We've got a turtle dragon to fight.
oh yeah,
gosh. And then you sent screenshots of, or like pictures of the like dragon turtle stats.
Nice.
And then Ash says, OMG, this guy is scary.
That's illegal, isn't it?
I mean, you guys, one of the things that I wound up feeling very lucky about with you guys being first timers is that I could tell you, like, this is the name of the monster that you're going to be fighting.
And we'd have no clue.
And you have no idea.
And we didn't. I think that was probably the only one we looked up.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Just because I think it was so intimidating.
Yeah.
At more experienced tables,
that's not allowed.
The DM just says it, and everybody already knows.
Oh, okay.
You already know what you're going in against before you even get there.
They're like,
yeah. They're like, oh yeah, I fought 7 of those. We've been playing for 20 years.
Okay,
you know,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think us planning with the dragon turtle, because we knew we were in the dream world, and Ash says I would like to use something creative to try to get away and take advantage of the dream world. So like most of that was like trying to like plan this to do it creatively and not just like fight the dragon turtle,
right?
You know?
By the way, side note, that was my favorite battle of the whole campaign. Hands down. No questions asked. Dragon turtle.
Definitely.
Favorite battle.
It was so good.
Yeah, and then Mom asked me, Alexa, do you have anything that you could use to do something? And I say, not really, unless you want me to throw a ball bearing at the turtle.
Did you wind up throwing ball bearings in the
I
troll?
don't remember.
I don't either.
You said, Mom says, or we could glue its eyes shut.
Didn't we still try to do that?
Because you gave us glue.
Yeah.
You did have glue.
Yeah, because you say, no, Kai has the glue.
I forgot about that glue.
Yeah, and we planned for me to grab handfuls of dirt. I don't know if we ever actually did that.
I don't remember.
I think we were trying to blind him still.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. And then we don't say anything for another couple months. And then Mom says, so we're getting ready to battle this awful bird. We are in the dream plane, so we can get creative.
Oh, in the cave?
Oh, yeah, the cave.
The battle that you guys finished in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that Rockna, like,
yes.
one-shotted.
Rock the Brock. Brock the Brock.
Yeah.
Rock the rock. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. That was probably our fastest. That was your most successful battle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what happened. Like, someone put him
really
to
well.
sleep or something. I think he was unconscious for like 90% of the fight.
Mhm.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Someone did something that like that was it. Like he was he was asleep or he was something. That was a good one.
And we don't say anything until April 3rd. I don't know what battle this is in reference to.
Calm emotions. Who was very angry at you guys? Was it Zatuna?
Oh, Zatuna.
Maybe. Well,
I bet it was.
Yeah, because you
Zatuna.
say, do you have anything that can heal or shield us? I think we're all in pretty bad shape. If not, maybe a distraction of some kind on anyone that I couldn't hit with calm emotions so we don't hurt them and can try to talk.
Oh, wait, no, that's multiple targets, it sounds like.
So was this still, that might have still be Shael's elementals?
Oh, maybe.
Because that's like, it was March 14th.
March 4th of this year? Or no, of
2021.
So we had a session on March 14th, and then you also had a session on April 4th. That's where I think you actually had your fight with the elementals was April
so we
4th.
were still, so that's, we only really used it for like 3 or 4 battles.
Yeah. Because it looks like, so on March 14th, I thought you guys would be facing Shael. And then, like, I think other stuff happened that made it last so long that we didn't quite get there that session.
Yeah. Probably me with Storm College.
That was the one when you all had the dream sequence. And, like,
you guys I talked to Dave.
Okay, so like you look like you don't quite remember, Ashley. So Rockna, in your dream, you met Shael for the first time.
Right, yeah.
And then Trigus also got to talk to Shael. And let's see.
Because you both, like, Trigus had a connection with her.
Yes.
And then, like, you had the gems.
Yes, exactly.
So you got Dave.
I got Dave.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
And
Yes.
Alexa had a dream with Dave.
I forgot that Trigus and I both had Shael, and she had Dave.
And I had Dave.
She's like, you guys got to talk to Shael? That moment was
Yes.
so good. But it was so important for you to talk to Dave because he was like in the dream kind of showing you how to defeat the storm. Yeah. But they both got to talk to Shael. That was a good moment.
That was a good moment.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was the last time we used the Scheme Team group chat.
Dang. Wow. I mean, to be fair, if I'm looking at my list right here, so that was, you fought Shael in our April 4th, 2021 session. We've only had 13 sessions since then.
Well, things really kind of came together after Shael, right? She was the last one. Well,
she was like the most intense one.
Yeah.
Everybody
She was
else
the
was
last
kind of
big one.
harder to get to, or easier to get to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you still did Roke after that. And then you had already kind of started Taru, but he hadn't been reunited yet with his gemstone. So that was still kind of there. But yeah, Shael was kind of the apex of it, maybe.
Yeah, like the Roke and Taru weren't big battles or anything like Sadie and and Shael were.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think, but man, that it feels like the Shael thing was like not a year and a half ago, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
April 4th. 2021. That's
wild.
That's almost literally a year and a half ago, because April 4th is my half birthday.
Oh, dang.
So,
and you just had your birthday.
And I just had my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It is wild how time passes in game and in.
Yeah.
I need to like sit down and in the beginning, I really kept up with like a calendar of like what time of year it was for you guys. And
then we started teleporting everywhere.
Yeah. And it took us 4 years to do it, but I feel like your campaign probably like, I don't even know if it encompassed a whole year.
Right. Yeah.
You had a busy year.
Yeah.
And then when we would record, we'd record a lot, Sundays in a row. And then we'd have so many episodes backlog that sometimes we wouldn't record for
a couple months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So then when we'd sit back down to play, it's like, who are we?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Where are we?
Yeah, exactly. I think that was part of the reason I started asking, like telling you guys where you were and asking you how your character would feel in that moment.
Yeah.
To get us back into
because
it.
we had that like really long chunk where we didn't record, where we didn't play at all.
Yeah.
And it was, I remember like that
was
first,
it like 6 months?
it was something like that.
It was October 10th, 2021 to March 6th, 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 months.
Yeah.
Where we didn't play.
So I think that first session back, it took us a little while to get back into character. And then after that, you were like, hey, let me ask you how you guys are feeling. Let's make it easier to like get back into character.
Yeah. And I think in the beginning I had tried to do that originally with like the dream sequences was the way to like get you into character without it affecting like the real world story. But then it just got to be, that's a lot of extra planning and it's like a little mini session, one shot on top of a regular session.
Yeah, I think those were helpful because in the beginning it was like extra playtime to get comfortable with the game.
Yes.
Which I think we definitely needed. Yeah. But then once we got like comfortable enough,
they weren't necessary anymore. I do have Oh, go ahead.
I just thought maybe someone should say, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, the dream sequences are basically small one-shots that they would take us maybe 20, 30 minutes, something like that. We used them as warm-ups originally back in the day. And those are all available on our Patreon.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot, too, from like early game. I went really hard first and was like pumping out. There was a point where I had something on the Patreon every single day of the week. Like it was like Mondays is this type of content, Tuesdays is this type of content, Wednesdays is this type. There's a lot on there.
Yeah.
I did have another question that I had written down. Now that everything is over, is there anything that you maybe not wish you would have done differently, but maybe you kind of wonder, could I have done this differently? Or like, what's something that you maybe would have done differently?
Well, Kai was eyeing those gemstones. If Rachna had, because I remember I think you picked first, and I was like, okay, Rachna's got the gemstones, but if you hadn't bought them, Kai would have bought them.
Wow. What would Kai have done with it? Oh, they would have gotten sold to Rom then.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So I think that would have been like the biggest one.
Nice. What about Trigus? Was there anything you would have done differently? Or even Kim as a role player, like that too, in or out of character?
Yeah. A lot of like the magical items that we got. I mean, I had them written on my character sheet and all that stuff, but I forgot to, like, I didn't use the harp.
Oh, yeah.
There were just so many things like that I would forget that I had. And so I definitely would have used those things.
That's a good one.
And then like a lot of like the loose ends, I would think way down the road. It's like, oh, I never did follow up with this. Or, I never mentioned this again. Like the thing where when we were on a trip somewhere and then Trigus was giving awards for the best of, best flower, best crunchy leaf or whatever. I think I should have kind of continued that a little bit rather than it just being a little quick thing. But then by the time I remembered it, it's like, that was a year ago. I can't really go back. But I think
well, we didn't do, like towards the end, we didn't do a whole lot of like traveling.
Yeah.
But I still could have been giving best of awards to not every situation. Yeah.
I feel like it's still kind of fitting for Trigus to have forgotten that he was doing that. Though.
Yeah, totally.
Or even if he came back to it a year later. And just no explanation, just I'm still doing best of.
Yeah.
I I don't think there's anything that, like, as Rachna, I would have necessarily done differently. Not to say that I, like, role-played her perfectly 100% of the time or anything, just I'm feeling pretty good about the decisions that I can remember because it all worked out, because, you know, because Becca still was able to roll with it. But as a player, I do wish that I had, well, like, taken more notes and sort of kept better track of, inventory was a big one, where I did not remember the seagull whistle at all. Kim texted me, like, an hour before we met.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I have to use that.
Nice.
And that's the only reason why the seagull whistle came into play.
That's amazing.
Which I'm so glad that she said something. Because that was just amazing and
so good.
Yeah.
100% on brand and everything. Yeah, I wish that I had invested myself a little more into keeping up with everything, I guess. But I was really just trying to, I don't know, we started it off as just like hey, this is a fun thing we're trying. And I just kind of kept that the whole way through.
Yeah,
So
I think that's good.
I tried not to, I tried not to turn into Rachna and worry too much about all of it. But by the end, I was wondering if there were a bunch of loose ends that maybe we never addressed again that we should have. As soon as the final episodes release, we're going to get like bombarded on Twitter or something.
What happened to
what about so-and-so? Yeah.
Right.
But maybe I'm overthinking it, but in the future, I want to be more on top of things, I guess.
But like the hard thing for me, because I had read that the best thing for a DM is a player who takes notes. And I thought, well, that's why I got this notebook. I was going to be taking notes, and I really did start taking notes and stuff. But while I'm taking notes, you guys are continuing to play. And then I was totally lost.
Yeah.
And it's different because we're recording. It's not like we can just go, hold on, hang on, I'm making note. We had to keep the flow of the game going. And I thought, if I keep making notes, I'm going to get so lost. So I would just go back and listen to episodes to try to refresh my mind. So.
I think for me, I feel like I learned so much about DMing in it along the way, because there's so much you can prepare, but actually being in it is a whole different ballgame. I'm kind of with you where I don't know that I would go back and do things differently, because I like the way things turned out. But there were also a lot of moments where I thought something was going to go differently, or there are moments where afterwards I have thought to myself, oh, a better DM decision in this moment would have been to do it this way. And so I think I probably would have learned the mechanics of combat a lot better, a lot faster to help you guys better learn the mechanics of combat a lot faster. I tried to go easy on myself too, also just because we're all new and none of us knew what we were doing, and that's okay. It doesn't, I don't think we've ever felt like this has to be Critical Role kind of level of production or story, even, we try our best and we're here to have fun. And I think that was probably my biggest concern as a DM was, is this going to be fun for them? Are they going to enjoy this? And that, I think, kind of just learning more how to integrate the things that you guys are telling me. And again, I also struggled with trying to remember things, because it's a whole world. And so if someone asks a question about a character you haven't talked to in 2 years or 7 sessions, then it's oh no, that's a good question. I don't know the answer yet, but I have to figure it out real quick.
One thing I would have done differently that I had completely forgotten about, one of the things that I was going to have Trigus do was a lot of puns. I had a catalog of puns that I was going to use that I just found.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'll just read a couple of them.
Oh, God.
That's fantastic.
Oh, God.
Could you be more Pacific? Surfs you right.
Nice.
Schooner or later. I've got a serious issue with this. I'm only squidding. This is squidiculous. I'm having a squid life crisis.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something I completely forgotten about.
And
that
I
was going to be
so glad you did.
Yeah, that would have been part of Trigus's personality. So
That was amazing. The last question that I had written down, maybe we should save it for last. Let me throw it out there and see what you guys think. The last question was, are there any unfinished threads or like things that you have questions for me about regarding like, why was this a thing? And what was this person's motive? What was happening here? What was going on here? Are there any like unanswered questions that you guys might have about story or lore or anything like that?
I remember being pretty convinced that Hayoni was that councilwoman's daughter.
Oh, the elder, most elder.
Yeah.
What was her name? Crimson.
Yes.
Crimson.
Yeah.
No, she was not.
I think they were both dark elves or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And when we were during the trial or whatever, she seemed like scolding in like a motherly way.
Okay,
that kind of made me like, I was like, I think you guys are related.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That would have been really cool. I wish I would have thought of that. Right? No, they're not.
my thing was the thing with, I know you've already gone over this and everybody already knows it probably, but the thing with Wulfric, like how he was a wizard, it's just very surprising to me every time I hear it, obviously. But you had said something about he put the souls in the gems, or who put the souls in the gems?
So, yes, it was Wulfric that put the Omara souls in the gemstones, because when the Omara ritual was being cast... Sorry, let me go back a little further. We all know that Barusa was building an army by basically he was sucking out people's souls slowly and transferring them into gemstones. And basically he had already started that process of like taking the Omara's souls. And so when they tried to perform a soul binding ritual, their souls were not completely there. It's what caused the ritual to explode in the first place.
Okay.
And then Wulfric, as a wizard, has a spell. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's almost like an imprisonment spell, but it suspends something or someone in time. And so he, not knowing what to do in the chaos of that moment, had cast that spell, because when everything kind of exploded, he basically like went around and kind of collected the soul fragments that were kind of left over around of everyone that had been scattered and exploded in there. And it was kind of his way of, he suspended them while he tried to figure out a way to fix it.
Okay.
But over that 100 years period, he did not figure out a way to fix it. And that's kind of where you guys came in. And when you cast that spell, you have to set a condition to when the spell ends. And Wulfric's condition was, when the last hair on my beard turns white, was the condition for them being unimprisoned.
Wow.
And that is kind of his aging is kind of what kicked off the whole story to begin with.
Oh, wow.
Because his
cool.
beard went completely white, and so all of the Omara were released from the gemstones. And it was before he could figure out how to deal with it.
Wow.
Because he was also partially missing.
Yeah. He was not all there.
No. Yeah, he took a lot of the brunt of the damage, I would say, in that explosion.
I think the only thing I'm wondering about is Barusa's right-hand man. There was some build up to this character, but I don't know who that is.
It was
Harold.
It was Harold.
Okay, I thought
it was
so.
Harold. Yeah.
I thought so, but okay, that makes more sense now. I had thought so, but I wasn't 100% on it. He just kind of showed up at,
Yeah, you didn't kind of get to chat with him afterwards, but basically the kind of backstory there was going to be, Harold was going to talk to you guys and kind of say, like, he's going to say some dumb line about how, like, big bad evil guys always kind of have a dumb henchman, like. That was going to be him. There was also a possibility of, if you had, like, so I kind of tried to drop the hint that Harold was there earlier when you were in the Purg, and I think I saw you like realize when I was talking about his like super dumb assistant. I think I saw it dawn on your face, and so I tried to give you guys like also the opportunity to go seek him out. And so like there was a possibility where you like convinced him pretty easily to join your side.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's just fine. It's totally fine. You saved his life.
Yes.
And
that was so cool.
I feel like his final scene is very on brand for him.
Exactly.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like I'm not sad about the way that played out at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was the right hand. He basically, after he left with you guys, because you haven't seen or heard from him in those long months.
Right.
Yes.
And so you had charmed him for that 59 minutes or whatever, sent him on his way.
Yeah.
Essentially from there in the background, he was teaming up with Baruso, you know, or like somehow headed that way or found himself. I didn't come up with a specific story about how he got there. I just knew it had happened in the background while you guys were doing other stuff.
And was he necessarily even meant to ever be anybody who made it to the end of the story?
No, 100%. No.
Yeah.
Because he was everybody's favorite NPC on Twitter when we asked. Yes, everybody loved Harold.
Yeah, he was like a throwaway. He was based on, it was when you guys fought the 3 tieflings from the cult. They were based on the 3 hyenas from the Lion King.
Oh, right.
And Harold is Ed. Harold is the dumb one. That was like his whole personality.
Right.
He's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I wanted to kill him.
Yeah. He was, I feel like he was a good little,
He was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the greatest.
Side kind of villain. I don't antagonist.
Yeah.
He was a good antagonist, I think.
He was. Yeah.
So when we first uploaded the episode 1, and we didn't expect anybody to really listen to it. We thought maybe our friends and family will listen to it,
Yeah.
And then when we got our first few downloads, I remember having conversations with all of us. This has to be somebody that one of us knows. And we tried to figure out who was listening, and
we were like contact tracing our listeners.
we were like having you were contacting your friends and saying, "Hey, did you download the show?" I was doing the same thing,
right.
and it wasn't any. So we were like, we were so confused. Who are these people that are listening to the show, and how did they find us? This is just so foreign. And so now, as of today, we just hit. This is October
9th.
This is October 9th. It'll be a long time after that when people hear this.
Yeah, that's fair.
We hit 94,639 downloads as of today.
That's wild.
It's just...
So it's possible we might hit 100,000 by the time this airs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Holy bananas.
Yeah, and
that's wild.
Also, I was noticing on Chartable that we've been, for the past 2 months, I think, we've been on the charts in Brazil.
Oh, hello, Brazil.
Steadily. Yeah, hello, Brazil. And it's just so exciting to see people are listening to us in Brazil. I just love that so much.
I never could have imagined.
No.
I think the best part about that for me is seeing maybe not the best part because it's all amazing. The people listening and the comments and the reviews and the...
Yes.
When I look at fan art though, it's like a little bit of a different level.
Right.
Because it's like you have not only been listening and occupying our world with us, it inspired you enough to put time and work and effort, and you're pouring your creativity into something that we created. That is mind-blowing to me.
Yes.
Every single time. It blows my mind. It's so cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, so just thank you everybody who's listened and stuck with us this long, and stay with us because
it's not over.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah. So one campaign ends, another begins.
Yeah. We're gonna get back at it.
Yeah. Should we do the hands in the center?
What are we saying?
What are we saying?
Okay. It's gonna be friendship on 3. Friendship forever on 3.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Friendship forever. And we back away awkwardly.